So, therapy was very, very productive today. I started out talking about how I had kind of a nightmare that I remembered mostly because the phone rang and woke me up while I was having it, so it stuck with me. And that was like at 8 in the morning. And then at about 10, I went out in the kitchen and I made scrambled eggs because I needed to hear the pan sizzle. My body was just screaming at me that I needed to hear the pan sizzle. So I made scrambled eggs. That was my second time, and I put milk in it at my mom's suggestion. So, because she'd suggested that to me a while back. So I made the scrambled eggs and I ate them and I fed myself, and that was my breakfast instead of my usual bowl of cereal. But it's like, as I was doing that, I calmed myself down. And I told Laura all of this, and, she was really proud of me. And she's not someone that sits and just gives out compliments for the sake of it. When she does it, she really means it, and she conveyed that to me. So, so it meant a lot. But she's because the contents of the nightmare was basically I was in a situation where I was helpless and I was being blamed for not delivering a result that was needed. In the dream, my dad was having a medical emergency and our phones weren't working, and my mom is screaming at me to get help, and I'm going around to our neighbors banging on their doors and nobody's coming to the door, and I'm hearing her yelling at me, "Why can't you get somebody to help? You need to get someone to help. This is your fault," like a self-blame thing. And and it was my mom, but she was talking to me the way my dad does. So, and Laura took that as this is your subconscious working on these things. And, it means that you're asking yourself questions and you're making progress. And that I had stirred up this trauma, and it just means that I'm fighting, and that it's good that I'm fighting, because instead of sitting there being afraid of it all day, I got up and I made scrambled eggs. And she was super proud of me, and it's like I wasn't consciously thinking I'm going to do my stop exercise and my star exercise. I just thought I needed eggs. I need to hear that pan sizzle. I need to make something hot. I need to scramble the eggs up, beat them in the thing and all that, and stir them around in the pan so that they turn into scrambled eggs. And so I did something instead of sitting there scared and feeling paralyzed. And that's progress for me, because normally I would just sit there and kick my own ass for hours and hours and hours. And it is practice, and she had me add to my list of things is baby steps, but we are making progress, because it's not such a linear thing. Healing from trauma and abuse is not linear. You're going to take 5 steps forward and maybe 8 steps back, and then maybe a tiny half step forward. But you got to keep trying to move forward no matter what. You have to keep trying to move forward. Or if you want to think of a better direction, like up, because you're in a hole, is you're building the ladder as you're climbing. And sometimes the piece you built isn't strong enough to hold you, but the next one might be. So you just keep building that ladder and you keep climbing, but go somewhere. Don't just stay in place. And backsliding does not mean that you have failed. It just means that you're fighting. And that's what I'm doing. And it's hard. The fighting, it's hard. And it's tiring, and it's relentless. I mean, trauma can be relentless. And yeah. So, I talked about a lot of things. I talked about how I take the things I feel for my dad and I turn them onto myself, because don't feel right attacking him for memories that are decades old. But, she reminded me that that's the past. We're not there. and we need to work on talking kinder to ourselves. So when that urge to insult myself comes up, when that urge, Donnie Winter, my dearly beloved Donnie Winter, came up with the term self bullying, and I think it's apt, or self abuse, verbal abuse of the self, is that when that urge comes up, I have to stop and treat it like a negative thought and, do the exercises, the stop and the star, and then be kinder to myself. And that is hard work for me because I'm still in the environment that fills me with negativity and triggers me. So I'm like Sisyphus, pushing that boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down. But you know what? Sisyphus keeps going. He keeps going. And so should I. So, like Shikishima, I have to pull the parachute and eject out of a thought process. So that's what I have to keep doing. But she says that, I'm on the right track, which that's what I was hoping to hear. And that tells me that I'm doing the right thing. Even if I'm not good at it, I'm trying, and that's better than just sitting there not making any effort. And you're not going to make 100% effort every day. If you can only manage 5%, give it the best freaking 5% you've got. Okay? Give it your best 5%. If you just get up and comb your hair, great. If you just sit up and change your pajamas, great. But do something. Do something. Even if you write a word on a sheet of paper about how you feel, you're doing something. But that's how you fight. And tomorrow you might have 30%. Give it your best 30. And if you have a 100% one day, do your best 100. But don't sit there and go, oh, I'm not 100. That's not good enough. No, you're always good enough. You are always good enough no matter what percent you're at. And your value is not that number. Your value is in you, in that you're alive and that you're here. And I want you to stay here and alive because I love you. And I am chronicling my journey because someone who might be on the edge and wondering if they should take the journey too, I can't walk your path, but I can show you that there is a path. So there is a path and I'm on it. And maybe your path will cross mine. Maybe we'll walk parallel. Who knows? But let's walk. Let's go. Or let's roll if you use a wheelchair. But we got to keep going. So keep going. Love you.